AITA for threatening to sue my girlfriend after she had my classic car scrapped. So this is going to be long, but I want to give the full picture because I've been accused of being overdramatic and an asshole in this whole thing, and I'm honestly losing my mind over what just happened. I, 31M, bought a 1967 Chevy Impala 4-door back in February 2019. This car wasn't just some random purchase. I'd wanted one since I was a kid. My dad had one when I was little, and I have these crystal clear memories of sitting in the back seat while he drove us to get ice cream on summer nights. The sound of that engine, the way the bench seat smelled like old leather, it just burned into my head. When my dad passed away, I made a little promise to myself that one day I'd own one. So when I finally had some savings and found a decent one for sale, I pulled the trigger. It wasn't perfect, the body needed work, the chassis had rust, and the drivetrain was tired. But that was the dream, right? I wanted a full restoration project, something I could sink my time, effort, and heart into. Fast forward, I bought my first house about a year ago. It came with a 2.5 car garage, and the very first thing I did after signing the papers was pull the Impala in. I split the bays, the body in one, the chassis in another. The garage was packed with parts. I had boxes labeled, shelves stacked, and everything laid out for the long haul. This wasn't a weekend hobby. I was putting real money into it. By the time all this went down, I'd spent over $11,000 on the car between the purchase price, new OEM parts, custom services, and tools. Every receipt is filed, every part catalogue bookmarked. This wasn't a junker, this was my dream, piece by piece, coming back to life. And to my girlfriend, 29F. We started dating seriously about 2 years ago. Things were going well, so when the whole pandemic mess hit and her lease was ending, I invited her to move in with me. From day one, she hated the car. She would roll her eyes when I spent hours in the garage. She'd make comments like, "You care more about that rust bucket than me," or "Why don't you just buy a normal car that runs?" At first I brushed it off. I figured she just didn't get it. Not everyone, into cars fine, but it became a point of tension. She wanted to park in the garage. I told her no. She could park in the driveway under the trees, or even in the barn I've got on the property if she really wanted shelter. I have 2 acres, plenty of space, but that garage, that was the Impala's home. She didn't like that answer. We fought about it more than once. I told her flat out, "It's my house, my car, and my money, tough luck." Maybe not the nicest wording, but I wasn't about to toss my project out just to make space for her Toyota Corolla. Anyway, a couple months ago, I had to go out of town for a business trip, just a couple days. When I got back, my girlfriend was weirdly happy, all smiles, making me food, doing laundry, acting like the perfect partner. Honestly, I thought she just missed me. Then I noticed something. Her car wasn't in its usual spot in the driveway. I asked her where she parked so I could make sure not to mow over anything. She just smiled and said, "Don't worry, I parked in the garage." My stomach dropped. I asked her how. Like, how did she park in the garage when 2 tons of disassembled Impala were in there? She just smirked and told me to go check it out. So I did. I walked into my garage and almost had a heart attack. It was empty. The body's gone. The chassis gone. The drivetrain, the boxes of parts, the shelves I'd been building for a year and a half, all gone. In their place, her F*** in Corolla, sitting pretty like it belonged there. I couldn't even speak. I was so in shock I just stood there, staring at the empty space where my dream had been. Finally, I managed to choke out, "What did you do?" She was so casual about it too. She said she'd solved the problem by hiring some guys to come and take all that junk away. She literally called it junk. Turns out, while I was gone, she had some local scrap haulers come in. She let them load up everything, the body, the chassis, every single box of parts, my tools, and haul it off to the dump scrapyard. I felt like my blood pressure hit the roof. I asked her if she was out of her F***ing mind. That wasn't junk. That was over $11,000 of investment, years of memories, and countless hours of my work. I told her she had no right to touch my property, let alone get rid of it. She just brushed me off, told me I was being dramatic, that I should be grateful. She finally made space in the garage like a real adult. That was it for me. I told her to pack her things and get out. She looked stunned at first, then tried to backpedal, but I wasn't having it. I also told her I'd be taking her to court for what she did. She laughed in my face and said I couldn't prove anything. "Oh, but I can. See, I have security cameras on my property. And guess what? They caught the whole thing. Every second of her letting those guys in and supervising them while they loaded my Impala onto the truck. I also have every receipt, every order confirmation, every photo of the car's progress. I can prove exactly what she destroyed. I called a lawyer the next day. We're already putting a case together. Now here's the kicker. Her family and friends are blowing up my phone, calling me every name in the book. They say it's just an old hunk of metal, and that I'm an asshole for suing her because she can't possibly pay me back. They say I should just let it go, because it's not worth ruining her life over a stupid car. But here's the thing, it wasn't just a car. It was my dream, it was my investment, it was mine. I don't care if she can't afford to pay me back, that's not my problem. Actions have consequences. So Reddit, I ask you, AITA for suing my girlfriend after she had my car scrapped. Update 1. Hey everyone, thanks for all the responses. I honestly didn't expect my post to blow up the way it did, but reading your comments gave me some perspective and some laughs, which I desperately needed. So here, where things stand since my original post. After I kicked my girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend now, out, she didn't go quietly. She cried, begged, yelled the whole roller coaster. At one point she tried guilt-tripping me, saying I was choosing a car over love. I told her point blank, no, I'm choosing respect for my property and myself over someone who doesn't care about either. She packed up and left that night, but it didn't end there. The next few days were hell. Her family started calling me non-stop. Her mom left me a voicemail saying I ruined her daughter's life over a piece of junk, and that real men don't care about cars, they care about family. Her brother actually showed up at my driveway to have a talk. I didn't let him in, but I watched him pace and rant from my security feed. And my ex, she doubled down. She texted me long paragraphs saying how I was throwing away our future over scrap metal, and that she did me a favor by getting rid of it. She genuinely does not understand what she destroyed. Anyway, onto the legal side. I met with my lawyer. He was, let's just say, very interested when I showed him the footage from my security system. You can clearly see her walking around the garage, pointing to things, and directing the haulers as they loaded everything up. You can also see them take boxes that were very obviously labeled OEM parts and interior restoration. Combine that with my receipts, which I keep in a binder like a maniac, thankfully, and he told me we've got a solid case. The claim, conversion and destruction of personal property. In normal words, she had no right to touch, let alone destroy, my belongings, especially something worth over $11,000. We've already filed and she's been served. According to my lawyer, she might try to argue that it was shared property since she was living with me, but that's where the receipts and the timing matter. I bought that car in 2019, long before she moved in. Everything was purchased with my money under my name with my accounts. She never contributed a dime, not even to the tools. The best part, my lawyer also pointed out that the scrapyard might still have the VIN logged, which means I could possibly track down at least part of what was taken. I don't know if it's recoverable, but even the paper trail helps. Meanwhile, her family keeps trying to pressure me into dropping it. Her aunt sent me this Facebook message saying that karma will get me if I ruin her financially. Some of her friends have even been posting vague statuses about men who love machines more than people. I'll be honest, all this social pressure almost made me waver for a second. Almost, but then I went back into my empty garage. I stood in the middle of that echoing space, looking at the oil stains on the concrete where my chassis used to sit, and I felt that gut punch all over again. No, I'm not letting it go. If roles were reversed and I went into her closet and threw all her designer handbags into a fire, no one would tell her to just let it go. But because it's a car, a guy thing, somehow I'm the bad guy, not buying it. One more thing, a couple of people in my original post asked if I'm heartbroken more about losing the relationship or the car. Honestly, the car, that might sound cold, but hear me out. Relationships can be rebuilt with someone new. Trust can be earned again with time. But that car, that exact car with all the money and effort I poured into it, gone, destroyed, stolen from me. And you know what? A partner who could do something that malicious, behind my back while I was out of town, that's not someone I'd want to build a life with anyway. So yeah, court case is in motion. I'll keep you posted when I know more. Final update. Alright folks, buckle up. This is the last update, and it's been a wild ride. The court case finally wrapped up last week. It took months, and I won't lie, it was exhausting, but it was worth it. Here's how it went down. First off, my ex tried to argue that she had equal say over the garage since she lived in the house. The judge shut that down immediately. The house is in my name, bought before she ever moved in. She never paid rent, she never contributed to the mortgage, and she never put a cent into that garage. Then her lawyer tried to downplay the value of the car, calling it a rusty old vehicle with no functional use. My lawyer came prepared. He had printouts of every receipt, records of recent sales of restored Impalas, which can go for $40–60K depending on condition, and even testimony from a local restoration expert who confirmed the work I'd done and the market value of the parts I had. The security footage was the nail in the coffin. The jury watched as she smiled and waved the haulers into my garage like she was hosting a yard sale. You could practically hear the collective gasp when they saw her point at the chassis and tell them to take it. She tried to claim she didn't know the value. The judge wasn't buying it. Ignorance is not an excuse for destroying property. The verdict: she was found 100% liable. She now owes me $11,442.57 in damages, the total we could prove with receipts. Plus, the judge tacked on court costs and legal fees. Will I ever see all that money? Probably not. She doesn't exactly have deep pockets, but a judgment is a judgment. They can garnish wages, seize assets, whatever it takes. That's her problem now. As for me, I won't lie, it still hurts. Every time I walk into that garage, I feel the ghost of what used to be there. I still have the oil stains, the memory of the body sitting on jack stands, the way the light hit the chrome bumpers I polished by hand. It's gone, and that sucks. But I also feel something else: closure. I stood up for myself. I didn't cave to pressure from her family or friends. I didn't let someone walk all over me and erase something I loved without consequence. And here's the kicker: remember how I said the scrapyard might still have a record of the VIN? They did, and guess what? The Impala body was never fully crushed. The scrapyard had it sitting in a holding area, waiting to be processed. By some miracle of timing, I was able to buy it back. It's rougher now, some parts are bent and a few things are missing, but I have the shell. The bones of my dream are still alive. So I'm starting over. It'll take longer, it'll cost more, but I'm not giving up. If anything, this whole disaster just lit a fire under me. As for relationships, I'm taking a break, focusing on myself, my house, my land, and yeah, my car. If the right person comes along who respects me and my passions, great. If not, I'm fine on my own. So to answer the original question once and for all, no, I'm not the asshole. I'm just a guy who wanted to build his dream car, got betrayed, and fought for himself. Thanks for sticking with me through all this. And if you take anything from my story, let it be this: don't let anyone make you feel guilty for loving something that brings you joy.